I'm very pleased that today we have both Wendy as well as Katia, who are going to spend some time with us to take us through their wonderful journeys and to share with us. Without much ado, let me now welcome Wendy on the stage.
Thank you, Claire. 6 years ago, this is my life. As a consultant, entrepreneur, and mother of 3 young children under the age of 7, I remember lying on the bed, thinking about all the 100 things that I need to do. There's an email to Joelle, there's a marketing plan, there is a partners meeting, there's a workshop in China next week that I have to deal with. There are all these meetings I have to do. And then when I have the 100 things that I need to do, I jump out of bed, putting it onto my to-do list, which becomes my Bible for the day, without which I'm lost and directionless. I organize my life in blocks of 15 minutes. And then it's Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. What do? Do I go for a nice massage? Or do I go chat with my friends? Find a quiet cafe to read? No! Right? Weekend has another list, right? There's phonics I need to do with Finn. Pete's exams are coming up. There's swimming lessons, music lessons, right? And then I have to head out to the gym, right? Clock some miles, burn some calories, measure muscle mass. See, I'm in control. I'm efficient. I like to do. That's my life. And then I wonder, why do I feel tired? Right? And so I'm just this, I find that my mind is fragmenting, my energy is fragmenting, my attention is fragmenting. I'm just doing my life. And then one day, I felt sick. I was vomiting and having diarrhea for about 5 days already. I was vomiting my gut out. And my father finally decided that I should go to the hospital. And that was 3 a.m. in the morning. And I was in the hospital bed, in the intensive care unit bed, right? And so this lady, her name is Dr. Linda, her hair was all prim and proper, right? Without a single strand out of place, right? And I was on the hospital bed, an ICU bed in the ugly blue hospital gown with all strapped to the beeping machines, and my hair probably looked like Einstein's. Yeah, and so Dr. Linda said to me, Wendy, if you come in 3 days later, you'll probably be dead. And when I heard that, I thought, dead? No, there's a workshop in China next week that I have to deal with. There's all these, my emails, my inbox is probably bursting, right? There's all this work that I have to do, and my work is not done, and I'm not done. And I was like, and I slumped back, and I thought, wait a minute. If I really were to go, then I can't see Pete grow up. I can't see Finn with his piggy pout, or I can't see Sophie, that's tomboy, in her pretty dresses. And so this sense of unfinished business just exploded within me. And, I felt that pain, not just the physical pain of this piercing pain in my heart. I felt the pain of regret. I felt the pain of reluctance. And so, what did I do? I made another list. This time, the list had checked with the doctor to put out my out of office notice and my will. Right? So I realized that this fragmentation that I experienced It's probably not just me alone. This is the statistics. About 52% of Singapore workers experience stress, and it's reported that the stress levels have increased. This is a consistent trend over a few years. Right? Not just our working people are stressed, right? Also our young people, our students are stressed. Our old people are also stressed. And this is a statistic in looking at Singapore's engagement score, right? That we are the lowest amongst all Asia-Pacific countries. And again, this is a consistent trend. Singapore's engagement score is typically lowest in the Asia-Pacific countries. So that means that we're not as meaningfully engaged at work. So why is this happening? Right, we know that change is faster, right? Workload is higher, yes? Right? And job security is lowest. So as I was recovering, I thought about what is the alternative to this fragmentation that I experienced. So thankfully, I was discharged on New Year's Eve on 31st of December. My family was happy to see me back, and my kids were also very happy to see me back. And they were even happier because I had no energy to scream at them to do their work. Right? So, so as I was thinking, what's the alternative to this fragmentation that I experienced? Right? And it occurred to me that the opposite of being in pieces, of being fragmented, is being in one piece, being whole. Right? So I went on this journey to find out the Eastern and Western ideas around wholeness. Right? From the Western perspective, we're good in breaking up into parts and looking at the parts and studying the parts. Whereas the Eastern ideas is good at looking at the whole, right? Looking at the totality, the whole. So I looked at the East and West ideas, and I also interviewed leaders like Claire and professionals to understand how do they stay whole despite the challenges that they faced. And this is what I found out. This is what I came to, and this is my definition of wholeness, right? That wholeness is a sense of balance. It's a sense of peace within ourselves and with the world around us, right? Because it's not just us being whole, it's the world around us being whole as well, right? So that's, and the reason why the W is with a small W instead of big W, it's just this sense that wholeness is not like nirvana, like we get to a state and we stay there, right? Wholeness is a continuous process. And sometimes in daily challenges, we get out of wholeness, and we all face challenges, right? So it's a continuous process, not meant as a destination, as a state, right? And so a whole person is somebody who has this integral picture of who he is, who she is, and who she is in relation with the community, right? And a whole person can also look at the big picture, look at embrace opposing ideas, right, and generate new options. And a whole person is focused, present, right, instead of being fragmented into all pieces. Right, so that's my definition of wholeness. Now, I want you to find a partner. Can everybody find a partner? We're all here to get to know new people. Can everybody find a partner? Yes? Okay, great. Now, with your partner, here's what I'd like you to do. Pick a word that represents wholeness to you. Right, so this is a word cloud. So this word cloud, pick one word that represents wholeness to you. If you have your own word, that's fine too. Right, and tell your partner, when was the time you experienced this? All right, just 1 minute. Okay, say thank you to your partner. Right. So this is your own sense of what wisdom means to you. Right? And I want to share with you the pathways towards wisdom, right? The pathways towards wholeness. So, being whole and powerful to contribute, that's the theme of today's session. Because we are here because we want to do something more, right? Why would you want to spend an evening listening to some people talk? Right? But I think I sense in this group, there's this sense wanting to do more, wanting to contribute, wanting to make a difference. Right? But how can we do that sustainably? How can we do that, despite our plates already being so full? Right? So we want to find this alternative way. So ABC towards wholeness. A stands for anchoring, right? Anchoring. So how does a tree grow tall and strong? The roots, right? So the roots to a tree is what an anchor is to us, right? It keeps us steady despite the swirling wind or the changes around us. Now, B is balancing. Balancing is to balance in our thinking, in embracing opposite ideas. And C is in clearing. Clearing our mind, clearing the mental clutter, clearing the ego, clearing the judgment, so that we can just be focused in this moment, here and now. Right? So these are the ABCs. And in today's short time that we have, I want to focus on B, balancing, because I think balancing goes to the crux of this whole idea of wholeness, right? So these are the areas that we want to balance. How many of you want to balance family and career? Only 1/3 of the room. Right. Okay, and we also want to, I'm sure many more of you want to balance family and career, right? And I know we want to balance, we want to get the work done, get the task done, as well as build relationship, right? We want to have safety, we want to have adventure. We want our organizations to be profitable, to make money, and we also want to take care of our people and the community, right? So these are all the things that we want to balance. And when we think about balance, what comes to mind? A scale, right? It's the weighing scale, right? Balance. But this idea of a weighing scale means that when one is up, the other necessarily has to be down. If I want to focus on my family, then my career has to take a back seat, right? And so do we want it? Is this a good idea of balance? No? Right, no. Right. Or we can think of balance as a compromise. Compromise being like that, a straight. And so we want to have a bit of both. A bit of family and a bit of career. Who wants a bit of family, a bit of career? No, right? So we all want the 100% of our family, 100% of our career. So the question is how, you might ask. Right, so I want to share with you this activity that we are going to do. All of you have this strip, yes? You should have received it when you registered. Okay, so let me guide you through this. On your left hand, okay, it might be easy if I do it this way, so I'm same side as you. So on your left hand, hold this AB, right, AB. And then on your right hand would be this tape. So I want you to flip the tape upwards, right? Flip the tape upwards and then join the ABs together. So you would see that the ABs would kiss each other, right? Kiss each other. And then there is a tape. So remove the tape, and you would find that you have a loop with a twist inside. Yeah, so just again, on your left hand, hold this AB, and on the right hand is the tape. So twist the tape upwards, and then join A and B together. So when you join A and B together, there is a tape. So remove the tape, and then just paste it. All right, so all of you.
Can I have the instruction manual?
Yes, it's right here. Right, okay, so all of you have it. Now, with this loop that you have in your hand, use a pen or use your finger. I just want you to trace trace this along the side without ever leaving your finger or your pen from it. Okay, I want you to trace along. Keep tracing. Don't doubt yourself. Just keep tracing it. What do you notice? Pretty difficult. Okay. You can use a pen. A pen would be easier. It's infinite. It's infinite. It goes on and on. Right? Your finger, your pen is only at one spot at any one time. Right? But when you keep going, it goes across both sides continuously. Right? So that's this idea of dynamic balance. So what do we mean by that exactly? Right? So for example, family and career. Right? Right now, I'm totally here with you, focusing on my career. Right? And in a few hours' time, I'll be totally at home, focusing on my kids. Right? So when I travel for work, I will spend time, have a family meal together. Sometimes I write notes, and and I tell them to open it after I leave. And then when I hit the plane, I start to my work furiously. So I am 100% with my family, and then at another point, 100% on my career. So over time, it's this 100 over both sides. Okay, so that's the idea of dynamic balance. So when we do that, what we get is this whole life. Mm-hmm. Right, and let me share another example. I'm always busy doing. I love to have to-do lists with my children, and one of the things that is always a struggle is music practice with Sophie, right? Because I'm quite perfectionist. So when she makes mistake on her music, it's terrible. So I will always say, Sophie, hurry up, get it done, hurry up, pal. Mommy is busy, get it done now. You can just tell what's going to happen, right? Yeah, and so I remind myself now that this music practice with Sophie is not a task. It's not something that I need to do. It's just something that I need to be with Sophie. So I put my phone down, I sit down beside her, and I try playing that piece. Of course, I'm rusty. So she shows me how she can play better. She practices a few times, and I just sit back and enjoy her music. Exactly. So that's just being with Sophie, being with her in that moment. You like that song? Yeah. Thank you. Right. But there are two parts that are not good, but it's okay. We still like that song. Right. So that's when we bring our being and doing together, what we have is really just living our life, right? Not just doing, not a doing machine, but a being, a human being. And I want to share just a few more examples about this whole idea of dynamic balance, because I think this is relevant to us wanting to be whole and contribute to the world. Right? One of it is about ego and humility. There is a research research with about 985,000 people worldwide across different countries, men and women in 48 countries, in fact. And it shows that men have higher self-esteem than women. We kind of sense that, yeah. But so this loop reminds us that there are times, or reminds me, right? There are times when I need to muster up my courage, muster up my strength, right, to advocate and to be heard, right? So that's the ego part. And at the same time, when we are in a leadership role, when people are listening to me, when I'm the speaker and all of you are listening, wow. But it's just realizing that it's not about me. It's not, I'm just an instrument. I'm just a conduit. I'm just being in service of the larger whole. So the I disappears, right? So the ego and humility, when we both have that strength when it calls for it, and at the same, we also have that humility when it calls for it, then what we get is strength. Because it's strength that is expressed overtly with our ego, and strength that is internal with our humility. Mm-hmm. Right, and one other thing I want to share is about attach and detach. How many of you here are perfectionists? Okay, I like to say I'm a recovering perfectionist, right? And so research also shows that women tend to be harder on ourselves. So I'll be first to confess. After a speech, sometimes I would think through in my mind 100 times, what are the things that I should have done differently? How could I have said this differently? I would think, and in that moment, I waste my time, I waste my energy, I'm not a good parent, I'm not a good professional, you know? And so because I'm attached at the wrong moment. The time to be attached is in the preparation, when I'm doing it here now. And when it's done, it's done. I should just detach, let it go. So as we attach, focus on something, and detach, let it go, what we get is this forward movement. You know, we move forward. We always move, have a momentum. Right. And reflect and act. I think Heine, from the gentleman from last November, the German headhunter, talked about women when we have opportunities, we say, let me think about it, let me think about it. So we are on this reflecting mode, right? Whereas a man with the same opportunity, yes, I'll do it, even though you only have half of the qualifications. Yeah, and so in this loop, right, I think what's also important for us is as we reflect, we must also take action. We must also act on it. You know, put ourselves out and take risk, and then based from our actions, learn from it, and then we take actions again. So this continuous loop will then create powerful outcomes, right? But not stuck in one loop, but both loops together. Right, so there are a few other loops. I just want to, flesh it out, and there will be all others, right? Singapore is great at this. Idealism plus realism, right? We are pragmatic people, right? And a leader who takes charge as well as takes care of people, right? We have success when we have both strategy and implementation. Similarly, when I take care of myself, my own needs, my feelings, my interests, and I take care of yours, your needs, your interests, your feelings, right? Not just you as an individual, but you as a collective, as a plural you, then we get to the we. Right? So I'd like you to discuss with your partner again, what is one pair that resonates with you? What's that one pair that resonates with you? And include the word or that phrase that describes wholeness from this pair. Okay? 1 minute.
Can you show the pair again?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be this particular. It could be anything that relates in your life. I'd love to hear your pair, and I invite you to come up and share with me at the end of the session what your pair is. Okay, and to summarize today's session, being whole and powerful to contribute, right? First, we want to be clear about who we are in relation to our community. Just anchor ourselves, right? And after we anchor ourselves, then we want to expand our thinking, right? To see new options. So that's balancing. And when we see the two loops, and we realize that, hey, we actually need to shift, because it's not comfortable being in a loop that is not natural to us. Right? For me, I love to do, but being takes a bit more effort, right? So but that's where clearing comes in, because we want to clear ourselves of the mental clutter that's going on in my mind so that we can focus, we are intentional, we know when we need to make that shift. Right? So that's the ABC. Right? And so in summary, our 6 years on, now when I if I'm lucky, I might have another 40 years left. So sometimes I bring myself back to the ICU bed in my mind, right? And I ask myself, what's really important? What is the situation I'm in now? What's the opposite that I need to embrace? And then I go for a run, a long run, right? My husband has the kids, I go for a run, and I clear my mind. And somehow, the whisperings of ideas of wisdom come. And when I'm back from the run, I know what to do. So, in summary, wholeness is as simple as these ABCs. Can you say with me? A, anchoring. B, balancing. And C, clearing. Thank you so much. Thank you.